Hey everybody, Katie Sutton here, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy and the New Earth Now School with your January 2025 energy update. I'm excited to bring forward for you all the 4 themes that my guides shared with me this month. I feel like after the solstice that we had in December, and I know in my personal experience and many others around me that we got a little tested in December and we worked through some really hard endings. I suspect that in January we're going to start to see the blossoming and the potential of some pretty interesting brand new beginnings. And so that's what I want to start with this month. When we are in a new year and we have all this pressure for intentions and resolutions, sometimes there's this feeling of, I got to hit the ground running and I got to make sure that everything is flowing and everything is perfect. I don't know about you, but that is not the energy that I have been feeling so far in January here, just a couple of days in as I'm recording this. And so the first theme that I want to talk with you all about this month is shifting focus towards flow. So some of you might be noticing that there's an inertia that you're having to deal with right now. And the way that my guides described this to me is that the energy of 2025 being a 9 years about completion. Last year was about the rise and the potential and the expansion, and this year is going to be very much about focused completion energy. And that's a pretty big shift, okay? Those are 2 kind of very different energies. And so the way they describe it to me is it's like we've had an energy of a top spinning in one direction. And at the end of 2024, that top kind of stopped spinning and now it's shifting in a new direction, okay? We haven't quite gotten that momentum back yet, and we're in that process of changing directions as we move into 2025. And so you might be feeling the inertia or the force. The way this will practically show up in this first theme of shifting focus towards flow is any place where you have an intention or an expectation or a desire for something to move forward, and you find that you don't have the energy to get it going, or you don't have the creative burst or the knowledge of how to get it flowing. They really want you, our teams and our guides really want us to shift our focus towards what is in flow and expand on that. And so this doesn't mean that those things that you had at the end of last year that you knew were goals for you in 2025 will not come into focus and will not happen. It's just a matter of making sure that you're using your energy wisely. And so if you have some things in your life that are feeling a little stuck, a little stagnant, or a little difficult right now, they don't need to be completely ignored, but they do want you to shift your focus a little bit away from them towards things that are flowing and feeling good for you. And that's going to work in a couple of different ways. It's going to clear attachment energy that you have where you're maybe hyper-focused on something and it can't breathe and it can't reach completion and it can't come into fruition. It's also going to help you internally to align with some momentum and some joy that's going to start to get that energy flowing again. And this will still be measured, especially in the northern hemisphere, because we're in the winter months. So we're not going to be hitting the ground running in full steam. That's not going to come until March when we get to the equinox, okay? So January and February is still very much an inward time where we're processing things and we're really working through things so that we can have some really fertile soil when we get into spring so that things can really take hold and move forward very quickly. So think about however you're spending your time right now and just really tuning into where am I putting my energy, and is it something that even if it's not moving forward really quickly, is there a state of flow there that feels good to put my energy towards this? And if not, it might be worthwhile taking a pause, okay? And that takes me to our second theme, which is finding ease and letting go. I think sometimes we can be so focused on healing and we can be so focused on trying to shift how we're showing up in the world and change who we are and focus on releasing and clearing that we forget about receiving. And really the message that I have been getting from the guides for this year is that we really need to focus on the things that are in flow and the things that are coming in, and that act of receiving in order to allow us to let go of things that aren't serving. And I think these two themes, right, shifting focus towards flow and finding ease and letting go, are really aligned with one another. When we are focused on the things that are in flow and we're putting our energy towards that, our attention will naturally fall away from things that aren't in alignment. And sometimes we'll look up and we'll say, oh, I haven't done that in a while, or that's not something that I'm putting my time into anymore. And you don't have to revisit it. If you really find that there's something that's not lighting you up and something that's not helping you to move forward in your expression of your true self in this lifetime, it's okay to let it go. And it's okay to let it go without it being a big deal. It's okay to let things complete. Here we have that energy of completion again. It's okay to let things complete without it needing to have a lot of drama attached to it. And so I really think this theme of finding ease and letting go is a no drama kind of theme. It is really about us stepping out of hyper-focus and the need for that sticky drama energy in our life and just letting things fall away that aren't serving. And you might find this in relationships. You might find that there are people that just don't really resonate anymore, and there's no hard feelings. It's just, oh, that just doesn't fit anymore. You might find it in physical possessions and things that don't fit or don't align anymore. It could be in a job. It could be in a creative pursuit. There just may be some things that you are waking up to in this new year and saying, gosh, I just don't think that's in alignment, and I don't really want to give my energy to it anymore. And so the opportunity is to take that as a gift and say, okay, if I let that go, and where might I be able to shift my energy to that is going to light me up? So this is really, a process of giving us access to more energy so that we can create again and create in full force in the months ahead. Okay. So just take that. And this builds a little bit on some of the energies of December, which were asking us to slow down and get quiet and get clear on what we want. We're really going to expand on that in January. And I think a lot of you are going to have a new level of focus in your life, and a lot of noise is going to be eliminated for you this month. And it may be shocking at first how quiet things get for you. And don't worry, there will be excitement again, I promise. But just take this kind of pause and this reprieve that I think we're going to have in January to catch our breath and to just let some things fall away. Okay? So that's the second theme. The third theme, this is a fun one, is breathing into the resistance. So having said what I just said about the first two themes, this third theme is asking you to really notice in your energy body, in your emotional space, in your relationships, in your physical body, where you are still holding on to resistance. And sometimes when we encounter resistance, we feel like we need to push it away or push through it. This is asking us to just breathe into it and be with those resistant parts and give them a little bit more space, a little bit of validation, a little bit of awareness, a little bit of love, a little bit of grace, so that they might be able to work through what is existing underneath that resistance, which is probably fear. Okay? I'm noticing that people are showing up and they've got some fearful parts. They've got some parts that are saying, I don't want to go in this new direction. I don't want this top to start spinning in this other direction. I was pretty comfortable where I was. And that's probably true to a degree. I think we can get comfortable in things that are uncomfortable sometimes. And we can make peace with things and almost forget a little bit about our power for creating change in our lives. And you might find some parts that are a little bit wanting to hermit, are wanting to hide, are wanting to be in denial of what's happening. And I am going to encourage you to be gentle with those parts. When I meet someone and I'm working with them and they have resistance, maybe they have resistance to some awarenesses that I'm bringing forward, or they have resistance to a healing process that's coming in, I do my best to meet them wherever they are and hold them in a state of compassion and grace that says, I see that this part of you is scared. I see that this part of you is unsure. I see that this part of you doesn't trust. and to just bring love to that. And every single time I'm able to drop into that space with somebody and hold them where they are and bring love to that, that resistance just naturally begins to fall away inside of them. And then they personally begin to claim the thing that is the truth for them. And they personally begin to claim that next step. And I really think we have to, as individuals and as a collective, get better at being with parts and people that are in resistance. It's very easy to want to control and force our process or someone else's process. But these resistant parts, if we try to slam them into the next thing, they're going to take that fear with them and they're never going to fully reach their potential. Okay? So this is really about slowing down, breathing into the resistance, and trusting that just because there's resistance there doesn't mean that it's the wrong thing. Okay, this is different than when we get an intuitive knowing that says, that's really fearful, and it's a deep gut fear that says, oh, I think I'm going down a path that isn't in alignment for me. Okay, this is not that. What I'm talking about here is where we have maybe a high heart fear, a fear that lives up here that's more of an anxiety that could be interpreted as excitement by our body, but our body is choosing to align with a past experience and saying, I'm afraid of this, and so I don't want to go forward. That's two different kinds of fear there. So you're going to have to really get good at saying, okay, where am I feeling this resistance in my body? And is this a gut knowing, a deep truth that says, no, this isn't right? And do I need to change course? Or is this a part that's just in resistance because it's comfortable and it doesn't want to change? And that is a very individual process. And I do think we need to practice with that this month, because I think we're going to start to see that in the collective at a broad level, where there's going to be a lot of change coming and there's going to be a lot of resistance to it. And so I always think as individuals and as way showers and as light workers, we've got to do that work first and get really comfortable with that energy ourselves before we meet it in the collective. So I really think this is going to be a very fruitful theme for us this month if we can be compassionate with ourselves and those resistant parts. And look, you're not going to force anything or anyone to change from a place of shame or guilt, right? It's only going to change through the frequency of love and acceptance. So wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, whatever resistance is arising to the next steps that you know you need to take, first meet it with love and then a firm hand of encouragement, okay? So that's the third theme. And then I want to talk about the fourth theme. I'm excited about this because this kind of feels like an overarching theme for 2025, and this is what we're going to cover in Healing Circle on January 8th at 7:30 Eastern, so next Wednesday. This is remembering who you are. I feel like for the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of us have been doing a lot of inner work. We've been witnessing a lot of hard things in the collective, but we've collectively, as a humanity, almost forgotten what we're capable of. We have gotten so polarized and so separate and almost so disillusioned by the things that aren't changing that we've forgotten that we are deeply powerful beings. We are creator beings who have an absolute level of capacity to create change to a degree that we can't even fathom. And in our technology realm, we're seeing all these kind of fast developments of how quickly things can change in technology and how quickly we can orient into new possibilities in technology, new possibilities in medicine, new possibilities in all of these things that are technology based. And we are humans and we have human technology, okay? So the potential for change and how quickly things can change is just going to skyrocket this year. And I think that's part of why we're needing to get in the flow and work through our resistance, because if we're in a state of resistance, we're just slowing down the change. And our minds want to bring up a lot of stories or a lot of beliefs that would make us feel that we can't experience change easily and we can't have a joyful experience while things are changing. And I believe the truth of who we are as humans is a being that is capable of experiencing the full breadth of emotion and being able to have a joyful wonderful experience in a human body while also experiencing the hard things that it means, that humaning means or humaning creates. And I think we've forgotten the ease. We've forgotten that there is joy. We've forgotten the simple pleasures of being in a human body. We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten why we came here. And so I think there's going to be a remembering this month and a waking up and a realizing of, oh, I was not meant to play small. I was not meant to postpone my joy. I was not meant to be in this state of fear. I was not meant to be in this state of disease or poor health. There's going to be something this month where you're going to wake up out of an illusion and come back to a remembering of your potential. And I think it's going to be different for each of you. And for some of you, it might be really subtle. And for some of you, it might be really drastic, where you just wake up one day and you're like, gosh, why was I ever playing by that rule? It is not even my rule. I don't even want to play by that anymore. And one way that I think that this might show up is that some of you are running some family line or some ancestral stories that I think you're going to shed this month, where you've been operating in a paradigm that you were conditioned into, and you're just going to wake up one day this month and be like, I don't want that anymore. I'm not aligning with that. That is not my truth. I'm not going to play by those rules anymore. And you're going to have this new level of conviction that says, I get to choose my reality. I get to choose how I want to experience this next day. I get to choose how I experience this next thing that I'm going to manifest and how I'm going to manifest it. And I don't have to play by these old rules. There is such a new energy coming in post solstice in December that I'm already feeling land here in January that is so different that it's going to shake some things up. And so this might even show up in your life as some things you've done it the same way forever, and you're like, that just doesn't work for me anymore. I'm going to try this other way. I'm going to try this other thing. And that's you remembering who you are as a creator being who has ultimate choice and sovereignty of how you want to live your life and how you want to be in your expression. And so I think this is a really exciting energy. I think if we can honor that, it feels like a very Aquarian energy to me, right? That sacred rebel of, I can do things in a completely different way, a way that nobody expected. And so be open to surprises, right? Internally and externally, right? Be open to surprises this month, because when we remember the truth of who we are and the power that we carry, it opens up a whole world of possibilities that maybe we have denied ourselves in the past. And so this to me feels like innovation. This feels like excitement. And you can look at a lot of things in our collective right now and be like, there's no room for this energy. I could look at a lot of things that are going on in our collective and say, this is the energy that we need. This is what the world needs. We need a little bit of a shakeup in order to reimagine how we want a human going forward and how we want to be in relationship with the earth and with material possession and wealth and all these different topics that are so sticky and so heavy and can be so broken. We need radical new ideas. So this theme of remembering who you are is asking each of you to tap into that creative genius that lives inside of you and finding a way to channel that in your life, remembering your creatorship. That's really what we're going to be doing this month and this year. Okay, so I'm really excited about this particular theme, and that this is our overarching theme of 2025. Last year, our theme was expanding beyond our limits, and boy, did last year push you all. It definitely pushed me. This year, we've already expanded beyond those limits, and we're going to claim the energy of the strength and the courage and the bravery and the excitement and the potential that exists when we know that we are stronger than we thought we were. Okay? We have proven that, I think, as a collective. We have been through so many hard things. I think it's time for us to activate into that full potential. So I look forward to bringing that theme of remembering who you are in that divine potential forward on January 8th at 7:30 p.m. for our healing circle. If that is something that is exciting for you, or you feel like you need a little of that energy in your life, look below this video and you can register to join us or get the recording of that healing circle, and we'll kick off 2025 in a bright new frequency. All right. I've also got a couple of retreats coming up this year. One in May to Costa Rica, which is going to be a really sweet and feminine exploration of connection to the divine feminine energy of the earth and the lusciousness and the abundance. If you're really working on your abundance story, this is a great trip for you to really be in that place of held support by the universe. And then at the end of July, we're going to Peru and we're doing a divine masculine trip. We're going to Asangate and the Sacred Valley and some beautiful waterfalls. It's going to be the adventure of a lifetime, and it will change you at a visceral level. And we are going to get connected to the sacred energies of the mountains, the Apus there, and really activate this divine masculine frequency that we really need to start anchoring on this planet so that we can move forward with bravery and courage as we continue to build the new earth here as a collective. Okay, so that's what's coming up. I've got a few other things in the works as well, a new class that's coming. Not quite ready to announce that yet. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get all of the updates and never miss an episode or an energy update. Thanks so much for watching, and Happy New Year, everyone.